What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thrift Shopping here. Today I have a really exciting video for you all. We are going to be deep diving into every single weapon and armor that is currently available in the Stia region. We're going to be utilizing those new gear, and we're going to be doing damage data calculations on every single weapon that is available for 7 and 8 star weapons to see what weapons really stack up compared to others and which weapon is the best for you to invest into. So without further ado, let's introduce all of the new weapons and armors we have received. The first Stia weapon series we are introduced to is the Prim Libra series. This weapon series has 601 attack at level 50, has a damage adjustment of 50% to 100%, requires level 55, and it does have the ice element. The item potential of this series is called Soothing Unit, and at level 4 it provides 24% potency and recovers 4% of HP every 10 seconds, and this HP recovery starts 10 seconds after equipping the Prim Libra series weapon. The second weapon series is called the Effulgent series. At level 50 it provides 611 attack, it has that 50 to 100% damage variance, requires level 60 to equip, and this weapon has a fire element imbued to it. The Effulgent series has an item potential called Blitz Unit, and at level 4 it provides 15% potency and 15% critical hit rate for 30 seconds when you successfully dodge or negate an attack with a weapon or a sidestep. The third weapon series we are introduced to is called the Cakewalk series. At level 50 it provides 685 attack, 50 to 100% damage variance, and requires level 62 to equip. Its item potential is called Instant Death Unit, and at level 4 it provides 19% potency and 5% damage resist and an additional 6% potency towards dolls. And the final weapon series we have been introduced to is called the Gunblaze series. This weapon series has 691 attack at level 50 and has the same 50 to 100% damage adjustment and requires level 65 to equip. Its item potential is called Flawless Unit, and at level 4 it provides 23% potency, 20% PP consumption reduction, and 10% critical hit rate. This effect is lost when damage is taken, and it has a cooldown of 15 seconds, and just like the Prim Libra series, this item potential starts 15 seconds after being equipped. From what I gather, the potency will remain on the item potential. The only thing that won't remain is the PP consumption and critical hit rate when you do take damage. And onto the armors of the Stia region. The first armor we have is the Eptai's Armor Vita. At level 50 it provides 91 defense, 55 HP, and 3% potency to all potency types. The second armor is called Eptai's Armor VO, and this armor provides 91 defense as well, 10 photon power, and 3 potency to all potency types. Both the Eptai's Armor Vita and VO can be dropped in the Stia combat sector. And lastly, we have the Eclair armor. This armor provides 86 defense at level 50. It also has negative 5% damage resist, meaning you're going to be taking more damage. It gives 10 photon power, and it gives 4% potency to all potency types. This Eclair armor drops from any Gigantics, including the Gigantics Recons in some of the regions, and this would also be droppable in the Stia Purple Devastators. So with the introduction to all of the weapons and armors out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the damage calculator. For these calculations, I will be using Cakewalk's damage calculator. If you're interested in how this calculator works, I will provide a link to my previous damage calculation video where I dive a little bit deeper into how to use this calculator. I will also have a link down below to the calculator so you can play around with it for yourself. For these calculations, we will be using the same armors and the same capsules for every single weapon displayed. The capsule build we are using is Mastery 4, an Addy Deft Hybrid capsule, Gigas 4 capsule, Alt Secreta 4, and a Boss Soul 4 capsule. With those augments and 3 Eclair armors equipped, you would be at roughly 100% equipment potency, and the damage calculator would appear as such. Now there is a lot of data here, so don't worry, I'm going to be cell shading so we can focus on specific areas in this chart. The first thing I want us to notice is the no fixa column. These are just the clean stats compared to one another. We have the Obsidia weapon series as our baseline weapon, So if any weapon is negative and colored red, that means it is performing weaker than a clean Obsidia. And if it's showing a positive number and a green cell, that means it's performing stronger than a clean Obsidia. So at first glance, what I notice is that some of these 8-star weapons are already underperforming a clean Obsidia. Weapons such as the Prim Libra series and the Effulgent series underperform a clean Obsidia, and it's only until they are either hitting enemy weakness, in the case of the Effulgent Flame series. A big reason for this is that the Prim Libra and Effulgent series have 611 attack compared to the other 8-star weapons, which are 680 to 690 attack. That is a huge attack disparity, and that is why we are seeing these weapons underperform even compared to 7-star weapons. Now, focusing on the other two 8-stars, the Kuklafis and the Gunblaze series, these are weapons that are actually pretty good, and we should discuss them in detail. Starting first with the Kuklafis series, you can only get up to Fixa Attack 3 through the Infernium exchange. However, the Fixa Attack 3 version is pretty good. Since the item potential scales off of attacking dolls, the first row you are noticing is the performance the Kuklafis weapon series would do to any monster, and the second row is showing the performance when you are fighting into dolls. Now that might sound like a heavy restriction, however, a lot of monsters that we face are dolls, and I will remind you guys that if we do get a new Dark Files enemy, that is also a dolls, so this is going to be one of the premier weapon choices if we do get a new difficult Dark Files UQ. And when you look at these Fixa Attack 3 Kuklafis percentages, they actually stack up pretty similarly to a clean Gunblaze, which is technically our strongest weapon in the game. So I know a lot of people are aiming for the Gunblaze series, and that is a great goal to have, but just know that you do have the ability to farm the Dreisen plant, get those Infernium, and you could be crafting one of the best weapons in the game without having to spend any real Meseta on it. And as a quick aside, since we know Gunblaze is the best weapon series, one important thing to note is that every single Fixa is really good for this weapon series. If you look at this row, Fixa Termina is actually scaling just as strong as Fixa Attack. It's only when you lose that potential that Fixa Attack and Fatale begin to outshine Fixa Termina. And so as a final note to this chart, I'm highlighting all of the important weapon series and the important fixes that I would personally be aiming for if I was going into the Stia region looking to equip a weapon. For the 7-stars, I highlight the Kaisar series since it is our tried and true weapon, and it really isn't that much off from the Obsidia series, which is still relevant. If you can get yourself into a Fixa Attack or Fixa Fatale 1 or 2, Rugged or Obsidia, you have a very strong weapon for the current game. You might be able to find one of these for a relatively cheap price. I also want to emphasize how strong the Christia series is with Fixa Fatale 3, 4, or 5. You can find these weapons in the marketplace for a very cheap price, especially Fixa Fatale 3 and 4. And as we highlighted earlier, the Fixa Attack 3 Kuklafis series that you can exchange for with 200 Infernium is a very good weapon for the current game, and moving forward, if we do have any dolls bosses, this will be one of the premier choices for weapons. And last but not least, if you can get your hands on a clean Gunblaze, you technically do have the strongest weapon in the game, and depending on how you perform, you are always going to be a step above every other weapon. So to put that into text form, here is a quick opinionated weapon tier list. For tier 1, I have Gunblaze, the Kuklafis Fixa Attack, and I also have Rugged, Obsidia, or Christia here if you can get a Fixa Fatale or Attack. For tier 2, I have the clean Kaisar, clean Obsidia, clean Rugged, or even a clean Effulgent if you can get your hands on it. In all honesty, if you have a tier 2 weapon, you shouldn't stress too much. However, if you do want to invest into something, look into those tier 1 options. Those are going to last you for a while. And for the units, for tier 1, I have the Ephetus Armor, Arga, Shiza, and Belta. As long as they have the Mastery 4 capsule, and spoiler alert, I am going to be showing a quick video in the corner. I am showing you all of the spots in the Stia region that can drop you these Ephetus armors. There's actually 3 red boxes, and they will provide you one of each Arga, Shiza, and Belta variant with that Mastery 5 capsule. This is one of the hardest capsules to invest into since it is very expensive, So getting that free on one of these Ephitus armors, which is a 3% armor on its own with no downside, makes this a very promising armor for any build. And since every account is getting it, these are selling for pretty darn cheap in the marketplace. So getting your hands on a set of 3 shouldn't set you back too much money, and it is really setting you up for the future. The other option in tier 1 would be those Eclair armors. Since they are 4% potency armors, they are the current strongest armors in the game. For tier 2, I have Ephitus armors Arga, Shiza, and Belta. This is still a great armor regardless of if you have Mastery 4 or not. I also have the Eptize armor Vio and Vita here. Since they are 3% potency units, you can decide if you want to go tankier with HP or have more photon power with Vio. And in tier 3, I do have Belgren armor. They are 2.75% potency units, so they are dragging a bit behind in pure potency. But because everybody is upgrading into Ephitus and Eclair armors, you may be able to get your hands on some really cheap Pixa Performas and potentially reduce the PP consumption of your attacks, which could affect the overall performance of your class. So it's something to look into. This might appeal to some players. So if you have a tier 1 or tier 2 weapon and unit, I would wait for new gear. You can upgrade if you want to, but it's not necessary. If you are to upgrade, I would just go ahead and continue farming the Dreisen plant, save 200 Infernium up, and upgrade into the Cakewalk Pixa Attack 3. This is a free weapon to upgrade into, and it is technically one of the best ones we have. And now if you can upgrade a weapon, you could look into Obsidia in the Ordinal Tower. You can earn this through Ordinal Tower titles, so it's actually given out for free. And then secondly, like I already mentioned, you can get the Cakewalk series through the Stia exchange with that Infernium that you can earn through the Dreisen plant farm. And if you can upgrade a unit, I highly suggest the Ephitus armors. You can earn these through the Ordinal Tower and Stia red boxes. I'm really surprised that the 7 to 8 star meta was not as much of a power spike as I expected. When we first saw the rugged weapons in the Kavaris region, they were so much stronger. I had expected we would see another power spike like that, but that's not the case. And for that reason, I really feel that upgrading for Stia is not that necessary. With that said, upgrading is much more streamlined this time around, with one of the best weapons being exchangeable, the Cakewalk series, and armors being available to each account, those Ephitus armors through the red boxes. So even though you may not want to upgrade, it's very easy to, so in that case, why not? And my final thought is that the Gunblaze series is amazing, and I cannot wait for a camo of that series. I hope this video helps you decide on the direction you'll take your account and characters. I know it can be very difficult sometimes with so many options of what to do and where to go, and I hope this data calculator can help you decide on a few things. So let me know in the comments down below, what weapons and units are you using to take care of the Stia content? And until next time, guys, I'll see you all in the next video real soon.